Welcome to the Crypto Prism channel. Bitcoin's price recently rebounded to the high of 92,480 USD, and after that, the price quickly dropped to around 90,000 USD. After going through a round of long-short battles, the daily candle showed a rather long upper shadow. This type of candlestick usually represents a rejected rebound, meaning the bulls tried but didn't achieve results for the moment. So will Bitcoin continue to move downward next and test the lower edge of this rising triangle, the rising trend line? This time, we will follow up from both the fundamental and technical perspectives. Alright, for those who haven't subscribed to the channel, feel free to follow. Next, let's start with a fundamental point. The interest rate market is the key factor influencing Bitcoin's rise and fall. In 2025, multiple Federal Reserve rate cuts drove Bitcoin upward. But in the first half of 2026, the probability of rate cuts is low. January 29th is confirmed no cut. March has a 70% chance of no cut, and April about 60%. Before the new chair takes office at year-end, the probability of a rate cut is only 50%. This means liquidity will remain tight in the first half of the year, making it hard for capital to be released, which forms resistance for Bitcoin's upward movement. Another fundamental factor is Wall Street's capital flow. Are people still continuously buying through ETFs? We know that at the beginning of this year, a large amount of capital flowed into Bitcoin, especially on January 5th, nearly 700 million United States dollars. But what followed was continuous outflows. From yesterday's news, the inflows have already been completely offset in the previous Wall Street trading day. That means the group who bought around 94,600 USD basically got trapped. Lastly, let me remind everyone again, this Bitcoin USD funding rate, remember, it's not USDT.Y, because this reflects whether Bitcoin holders are using Bitcoin margin trading to short or long Bitcoin. You can see that when the funding rate approaches a normal level, like at this top, the price quickly drops. What does this mean? When the funding rate is at a normal level, shorts have the advantage. And when the funding rate approaches a negative level, longs have the advantage. Just remember these points. Back to the chart. Starting from the weekly time frame, let's follow up on Bitcoin. Some people will look at this downward trend line. But what I care more about is the upward curve in a bull market. When the upward curve is broken, we can see that after a 36% drop, the whole market entered 7 to 8 weeks of consolidation. If I interpret from pure weekly candlesticks, it swept the previous bearish liquidity, and the weekly close was lower than the open. This means the entire week's effort did not produce results. Based on this weekly failed breakout candle, it has a high probability of going down to test the bottom of this bullish candle. This is the projection according to weekly candles. Then, looking at the daily candles, I believe many people in the market will say this is a consolidating rising triangle. My suggestion is, if you're bullish, you may consider going long at this point when price touches the curve, a small right side long. It's better than thinking about chasing after a breakout. Alright, from the daily time frame, all I can say is using daily candles to analyze, whether to long or short at this position, still the same thing. Regardless of this week or next week, I strongly suggest everyone pay attention to whether the lower trend line gets broken or the upper trend line gets broken. Next, let's look at the 1-hour chart. If Bitcoin comes back to the 0.618 level again, I think it is a point to consider a right side short. If this is indeed the 0.618 and price continues downward, Bitcoin will most likely reach the minus 0.272 level. And the minus 0.272 level happens to be the middle of this consolidation zone. Other than that, if Bitcoin suddenly drops directly from the daily timeframe curve level, then around 88,100 USD is the curve area. From this Fibonacci views 0.618, then the downside target is roughly around 87,000. Alright, today's analysis ends here. We'll see each other tomorrow.